Hello guys, welcome to my channel Power BI with Rosh. My name is Rosh and today we're going to learn how to create a date table, a date time table and a timetable in Power BI. So in Power BI, I think creating a date table and slicing or dicing based on that date table attribute, like slicing a data set by year, by month and week, I think it's a very good practice. Even myself, when I create a report, I make sure I create a date table so that I can filter the data set by the attributes of the date table, right? But what if we want to create a daytime table? That's something new, right? And I don't think much people don't really talk much about a daytime table. Say in your organization there are 2 shifts or 4 shifts, right? So it's starting maybe every 12 hours. A shift is every 2 hours, like a 12 hours long shift, right? From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is your day shift. 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. is your night shift. So your organization might have those kind of shifts. In that case, you want to create a daytime table because your manager, or when you're creating a departmental report, you want to show them a shiftly report, so they can see how the morning shifts are doing, how the night shifts are doing, and they might want to compare between the both, right? And they might want to get a date, the whole day, how was it, right? How was the performance for the whole day, how was the performance for morning and night, and so on. And in that case, you use a daytime table. The timetable is something you will rarely use. So if, say, you are in a manufacturing business and you want to get a performance of an equipment, and you want to monitor the performance, right? Because you don't want the equipment to overheat or something like that, or you want to track the fuel or something. So you want to see every hour or every half an hour data to see how's the graphs going ups and downs, and how the performance is, everything, so and so on, right? So you want to use a timetable for that one. So I'm going to show you how to create all these 3 in this tutorial. So without wasting time, let's get started. So first thing first, I'm going to go to the Power Query, select transform data, and I've created 3 blank queries. Okay, so this is how you create a blank query. Go to new and right click anywhere, new query, and go blank query. And I've created 3 of them. Rename them as date, time, and time. Okay, so let's start with a date first. Okay, so if you go to the advanced editor, that's how you see the mQuery code for date table. And guys, just to let you know, I will definitely paste the code for this one in my description. So all you can do is just go to the description, copy from late to in, so whatever the code is in between, just copy that and paste that over here. You're gonna get your date table. Okay, so for example, you can just go to the description, right? And you can just go select all the script and just go advanced editor, create a blank query and just paste it, and you're gonna get your date table. Okay, so you don't have to go through each and every mQuery code. Okay, so use a reusability as I say. Okay, anyway, so let's create my blank query again in source. So that's how it was before, right? This is our blank query. So first thing, we need a start date. Okay, so start date. So this is how we create a variable in Power Query M. So, and you create a custom date by using a keyword sharp date. Okay, and open and closing parenthesis, and it takes year, which is 2023, month, which is January, start of the year, of course, and day. So year, month, and day. So that takes 3 parameters. And if I go over here and say start date, it's gonna give me the start date, which is 2023 1/1. Okay, so that's how you create a custom date in Power BI. But we are not interested in a custom date. We are interested in a list of dates. Okay, so let's go list. So this is gonna get us the list of all 365 days that we want. Okay, so I'm gonna use a function. There's a function called list of dates that's gonna give us, of course, as the name suggests, list of dates. Okay, it's gonna take 3 parameters, which is start date, count, and a step. Okay, start date is, of course, like where do you want to start, right? So like we create an index column, right? So you want to start with 1, we want 10 10 values, and difference between two values is 1, so that's going to give us 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 9 10. So similarly, it's going to take a start date and how many number of dates we want and what's the difference between two dates. Okay, so start date, which is going to be start date. Okay, and I want 365 days, right? Of course, 365 days, and each day is 1 day difference. So for that, I'm going to use duration, because duration is, so like we create a date, a custom date. A duration is something we create to get the duration, right? Custom duration. So it's going to take day, hour, month, and second. Okay, so I can put over here. So I want a day difference between two dates, right? So I'm going to ignore these three. I'm going to put them as 0. All right, so I wanted the date difference is 1 day for each of the dates. Okay, so if I print out the list, that's going to give us the list of all the dates from 2023 1st of January to 2023 31st of December. Okay, so if I put, so I'm going to show you, if I go over here and go 2 days, okay, that's going to give me 365 dates from 2023 1/1. Okay, whereas the date difference is 2 days. Okay, so that's how you create, that's the use of the duration. Okay, so I'm going to leave it as 1, and actually we are almost there, right? But what we're going to do next is convert it list to a table. So this was our list, so we need to convert that to a table. Okay, and rename that to date and convert that to a date type, right? And that's how we get the date column. Now we can get a, like, add a custom column, and we can go year, right? We can go use the function called date.year. That's going to give us a year value from a date. Okay, and that's going to give us the year, which is 2023. So it's going to fill in with 2023, and you can see the mQuery code here as well, right? So now if I change that year to a month, it's going to give me the month number. Okay, if I'm gonna go month name, it's going to give me month name. So you want to create a like a custom columns for each of these values, right? Year value, month value, week value, and so on. So that's how you create a date table. I'm going to show you something else here. Okay, I'll put a 365 over here, but there's something else you can do. Okay, and that's a very important piece of this one, because not only we always want dates from this one to, anyway, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so end date is going to be, again, I want to put an end date again. So instead of 365 days that I put it here manually, what I mean is I want to create a 365 days between these two dates. Okay, I want to calculate those dates instead of manually putting 365. For that, what we're going to use is a function called duration.days. Okay, so duration of days, as the name suggests, gets the days between. So this is like a DAX function called days between that gets a days between two dates. Okay, duration of dates from end date to start date. Okay, so that's going to give us the value 364. Okay, because from this date to this date, if you subtract those 2 days, you're going to get 364. So you need to add a 1 day as well, because that's going to give us a 365 days. So now if I go over here, it's going to give me the same value. Okay, because it's going to give us 365. Okay, so if I just copy that and paste it over here and get the value, is going to give me 365. So this is another way to do it, because you might always never have like a manual custom date. So you might have a end of the year you want to calculate in some other way, like this is how you get a today's date in Power BI. So datetime.local now, this is going to give me the date time value of today, like right now. If I go over here and go date from that date time local now, it's going to give me the date value, which is going to be today. Okay, and if I'm going to go date dot end of the year, okay, date dot end of the year, and it's going to, now if I go date from, okay, if I'm going to go date from, that's from, so it's going to give me the end of the year for today, based on today, which is going to be, of course, 2023 31st of December. So that's, you might have a dynamic value as well. So that's when you want to use duration, that days. Okay. So, but if you're not, you don't have a dynamic value, just use 365. Okay. So that's how you create. I'm going to discard that and create a date table. Now let's create a date time table. Okay. Now date time table is a bit interesting than a date table. So in date table, it's just days. There's just one day, so it's pretty straightforward. But start date, there's date time table is a bit different. So let's create a start date time. So again, like in the date, we create a custom date time. We're going to create a custom, like we created a custom date. This is how we create a custom date time in mQuery. Okay, date time 2023 1 but it also takes not only year, month and days, it also takes hour, minutes and seconds. So let's say in my organization the shift starts at 6 a.m. so let's go 6 as an hour, 00 as minutes and seconds. Okay, 6 a.m. so if I go print it out, start date time, it's going to give me 2023 1 6 a.m. okay, so that's our start time. So what I'm going to do next is get the list from this date time. Okay, so list of date time, again like before, like we did list the dates for, but this time we're going to get list the date times. Okay, because we're dealing with date times, of course. Now it's going to take same thing, start date time, which is going to be the start date time, and for how many days we want it. Let's go for 10 days. Okay, for this, for the tutorial sake. Start date time, I want 10 values, and what's the duration? So this is a shiftly one, so I want 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and so on. So remember we did 1 day 000 before, so that's 1 day 0 hour 0 minute 0 second. But in this case, what we're going to do, since it's going to be 12 hourly shift, so we're going to write 12 hours in the hours instead of day. Okay, so day is going to be 0. For every 12 hours, give me 10 values starting from 6 a.m. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. So if I go print out the list, it's going to give me a list of dates, 10 dates from 6 a.m. every 12 hours. Okay, so 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. 12 hours, and so on and so on. If I go over here and write, say you have every 6 hours you have a shift. Okay, so let's say starting from 6 a.m. your next shift starts at 12 p.m. next starts at 6 a.m. so 4 shifts in a day. Okay, if I press that, that's how you're gonna get every it's like 6 hour shift in date timetable. Okay, so now again we're going to convert that to a table, of course, and rename that to a datetime and change that to a datetime type, and now repeat the same step as before. So if you might want to get a date value from that datetime, and this is how we do get the date value from a datetime. Okay, so that's going to be date from datetime, and it's going to give us the date value. If we go over here and go time from, guess what? It's going to give us time value from the date time. Okay, so that's how now you can go get a year, month name, and so on and create your date time table. And I'm not going to show that because that's pretty simple. You just right there, like go date from, date time, year from, and so on and so on. It's going to be pretty straightforward. So that's how we create a date time table. So let's create a timetable, which is our final table. Okay, so again the same step, but instead of start date or start date time, we're going to create a start time, and this is how we create a custom time in Power BI. So like date took year, month, day. Date time took year, month, day, hour, minute and second. Time takes, as you guessed, hour, minute and second. Okay, second. So hour is going to be, of course, 000. The time is going to be, which is 12 a.m. midnight. Okay, so that's our start time. So if I print that, that's going to give me 12 a.m. Okay, now what we need to do now is get the list of time from start time. Okay, so go list equal to, now we used list at dates, list at date times, but this time we're going to use list at times. Okay, and it's going to take a start time, which is going to be of course our start time. So it's pretty much the simple step. The only difference is between changing the duration. Okay, so from start time, give me again, no, not 10, I want 24. Okay, of course 24, there are 24 hours in a day, so let's go 24. And duration, now this is, again, we did 1 day for the date table because we wanted a daily value. For date time, we put 6 hours or 12 hours to get every 12 hours value, but for the time we might want 1 hour. Okay, so that gives a value, a list of time for every 1 hour. So if I do that, it's going to give me 12, 1, 2, 3, 4 p.m, am, and so on. Okay, if I want every half an hour, just we put that hour to 0 and write every 30 minutes. Okay, so every 30 minutes, 24 values starting from 12 a.m. midnight until, so that's going to be 11:30 a.m. Okay, so if I change that to 1 minute, it's going to give us 12, 12 1, 12 2, 12 3, 12 4, so on, so on, so on, so on. Okay, so this is where we want to use a duration between 2 days over here, and instead of manually putting a 24, like I showed you in the date table how we did like duration.days, you might want to use that function instead of going manually. Okay, so that's how you create a timetable in Power BI. So just go over here again, don't miss this step, convert it into the table, write time, rename it, change that to a time type, and now again, like with the date and date time, we can get a like the attributes of time values, like hour, just go hour from time.hour, minute, time.minute, time.second, and you're going to get the time parts from the time. Okay, so that's how you create a timetable in Power BI. And that's everything for today. I'm going to also copy paste all these scripts in the description, so you don't have to go through each of these queries. Okay, so this is just for educational purposes, just in case you want to create your own custom time or date timetable or a date timetable. So this is how you do it. So that's pretty much everything. If you like this video, please do subscribe to my channel. I've been getting very good reviews. I would like to thank everyone for supporting my channel and liking my videos, subscribing to my channel. Thank you very much. Your support means a lot to me. It really encourages me to create more videos like this. So do subscribe to my channel. Thanks for everything. I'll see you next time.